Want to multiply your Monstera into a lush indoor jungle? It's easier than you think. Propagating your Monstera is not just simple, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a plant pro or a beginner, this guide will show you how to do it successfully using water, soil, or air layering techniques. Let's get started. First things first, gather your materials. Use clean, sharp scissors or pruning shears for a precise cut. For water propagation, grab a clear jar or vase. Transparency helps you monitor root growth. If you prefer soil, get a pot with good drainage and fill it with quality potting mix. Adding perlite or orchid bark boosts aeration. For air layering, you'll need moist sphagnum moss, plastic wrap, and twist ties. Choose a healthy Monstera stem with at least one node. This is where new roots will form. Make sure your plant is pest-free and well-watered before cutting. For stem cuttings, identify a section with a node and a healthy leaf. Cut just below the node with your shears. For water propagation, place the cutting in a jar, submerging the node. Set it in bright indirect light, and change the water every few days. You'll see roots in about 2 weeks. For soil propagation, dip the cut end in rooting hormone, optional. Then plant it in a pot with moist, well-draining soil. Keep it in a warm, bright spot out of direct sunlight. Water when the top inch of soil is dry. Air layering is a fantastic method for propagating Monstera that allows roots to develop while the cutting is still attached to the parent plant, ensuring a higher success rate. To start, choose a healthy section of the stem where you'd like new roots to form. Make a small cut, or remove a thin layer of the outer bark from the stem. This will expose the inner tissues and encourage rooting. Next, take some moist sphagnum moss and pack it around the wounded area of the stem. The moss needs to be damp but not soaking wet, as it will provide the necessary moisture for root development. Once the moss is in place, wrap it securely with plastic wrap to keep the moisture in. You can use twist ties, rubber bands, or even string to hold the wrap in place, ensuring it's snug but not too tight, as you don't want to constrict the stem. Over the next few weeks, check the moss regularly to ensure it remains moist. After a few weeks, you should start to see roots developing through the moss. Once you have a healthy cluster of roots, it's time to cut the stem just below the newly formed root ball. This newly rooted section can now be planted directly into soil, where it will continue to grow into a new Monstera plant. Air layering is particularly effective for propagating larger or more mature plants that might struggle with traditional cutting methods. After successfully propagating your Monstera, whether through water, soil, or air layering, proper aftercare is essential to ensure the new plant thrives. For water-propagated cuttings, transfer them to soil once the roots are about 2 to 4 inches long. At this stage, the roots are strong enough to support the plant in its new environment. When moving the cutting to soil, be gentle with the roots to avoid damage. Place the plant in a pot with well-draining soil, and ensure the pot has adequate drainage to prevent waterlogging. For soil-propagated cuttings, the new plant may be sensitive to light changes initially, so gradually introduce it to brighter light conditions over a few weeks. Start by placing the plant in a spot with indirect light, then slowly move it to a location with more light as it adjusts. Maintain a regular watering schedule, keeping the soil consistently moist but not soggy. This helps the roots continue to grow and establish themselves in the new environment. For air-layered plants, treat the new plant as you would a mature Monstera. Place it in a location with bright indirect light and water it regularly, ensuring the soil remains moist. It's important to be patient during this phase, as the plant will focus on establishing its roots and may not show significant growth immediately. In all cases, monitor your new Monstera for signs of stress, such as yellowing leaves or wilting, and adjust care as needed. With the right attention and care, your propagated Monstera will continue to grow and thrive, adding beautiful, lush greenery to your home. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Garden Bound for more tips and tricks when it comes to everything green. Until next time, happy gardening.